Verydarkman, the well-known Nigerian activist and social commentator, has openly called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. In a direct and serious statement, he urged the president to take this step not only to respect Kanu's fundamental human rights but also to help address the insecurity that has been troubling the southeast for years. Speaking in his usual straightforward manner, Verydarkman made it clear that keeping Nnamdi Kanu in detention has not brought peace or stability to the region. Instead, he believes it has made things worse. He explained that the longer Kanu remains in custody, the more people in the southeast feel ignored, unheard, and unfairly treated by the federal government. According to Verydarkman, this sense of injustice is a major reason why tension and unrest have continued in the southeast. He argued that when people feel that their leader is being treated unfairly, it fuels anger and distrust towards the government. In his words, if we want peace, then we must first give justice. Without justice, there will always be resistance. The activist stressed that the issue is not about whether someone agrees or disagrees with Nnamdi Kanu's political views. He said the real question is about fairness and the rule of law. He reminded Nigerians that human rights are not optional. They are the basic freedoms that belong to every citizen, no matter who they are or where they come from. Verydarkman pointed out that in a democratic society, people should be judged through fair trials, not kept in custody for endless periods without resolution. He believes that the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu without a clear and final legal conclusion is a violation of these principles. The law must be the same for everyone, he said firmly. He also appealed directly to President Tinubu's sense of leadership and responsibility. He reminded the president that he is not just the leader of one group of people or one region, but the leader of the entire nation. This means treating every citizen equally, without favoritism or discrimination. A good leader listens to the cries of the people and responds with wisdom, he said. In his message, Verydarkman made it clear that releasing Nnamdi Kanu should not be seen as a sign of weakness. Instead, he said it would show that the president has the courage to do what is right, even when it is politically difficult. It would also send a message to the world that Nigeria values justice and the rule of law. The activist also touched on the importance of healing national divisions. He explained that the country is already facing many challenges, from economic hardship to insecurity in various regions. He believes that the government should focus on uniting the people, not deepening the divisions. Releasing Kanu, he argued, would be a step towards national unity and reconciliation. Verydarkman said that he understands not everyone supports Nnamdi Kanu's ideas or methods, but that is not the main point here. The main point is that every Nigerian has rights that must be respected. If we choose who gets their rights based on who we like or dislike, then we are no longer a fair country, he said. He also warned that ignoring these issues could make the situation in the southeast more dangerous. He said the insecurity in that region cannot be solved by force alone. Instead, it requires dialogue, trust, and mutual respect between the government and the people. And to build that trust, the government must first show that it is willing to listen and act fairly. According to Verydarkman, releasing Nnamdi Kanu would be a powerful signal to the people of the southeast that the government is willing to take their concerns seriously. It would also create an opportunity for open discussions about the future of the region and the country as a whole. He concluded his message by urging President Tinubu to make history as a leader who chose peace over conflict and unity over division. Your legacy will not be remembered for how many people you keep in prison, he said, but for how many lives you touched and how many wounds you helped to heal. For Verydarkman, the solution is clear: respect the law, respect human rights, and take steps that will bring Nigerians together. He believes this is the only way to create lasting peace, not just in the southeast, but across the entire country. Verydarkman made it clear that the insecurity in the southeast cannot be discussed without talking about the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu. In his view, there is a direct connection between Kanu's case and the tension in the region. According to him, many of the young people in the southeast see Kanu not just as a political leader, but as a symbol of their identity and their struggle. He explained that whether people agree with Nnamdi Kanu or not, his influence in the southeast is undeniable. You cannot talk about peace in the southeast and pretend that Kanu is not part of the conversation, he said. For him, the current situation is like trying to heal a wound without addressing the main cause. Verydarkman said that when people feel that their leader is being treated unfairly, it creates a sense of anger and frustration. This feeling can push some of them towards extreme actions. He pointed out that many of the violent incidents and protests in the southeast are fueled by this anger. You cannot have peace in a place where the people believe justice is being denied, he stressed. He also reminded the government that insecurity is not just about guns and soldiers. True security, he said, comes from trust between the people and the authorities. Without trust, no amount of military action will bring lasting peace. In his words, you can chase people with force, but you cannot chase away the feeling of injustice in their hearts. According to him, the government must look beyond short-term solutions. He believes that releasing Nnamdi Kanu would be a long-term step towards peace. This is because it would remove one of the main reasons for the current hostility. It would also open the door for dialogue and a chance to address the deeper issues that have been ignored for too long. Verydarkman also spoke about the economic impact of insecurity in the southeast. He said that many businesses have closed, and many investors are afraid to operate there because of the unstable situation. Ordinary people are suffering, markets are not as active as they used to be, and families are living in fear. He argued that these problems cannot be solved until peace is restored, and that peace will be hard to achieve without resolving Kanu's case. He gave an example of how conflict affects everyday life, when people are afraid to go to work, when children are scared to go to school, and when communities are cut off from each other because of fear. This is not the kind of life anyone should live, he said. A government that truly cares will take action to change it. For him, releasing Kanu would be more than a political move. It would be an act of leadership and compassion. It would show that the government is ready to put the welfare of the people above political calculations. He said that President Tinubu, by taking this step, could win the trust of millions of Nigerians, not just in the southeast but across the country. Verydarkman also called on leaders from all regions to support this call. He said peace in one part of Nigeria benefits the whole country, because insecurity in one region affects everyone in different ways. He urged politicians, traditional rulers, and community leaders to join hands and speak with one voice on this matter. We must remember that we are one country, he said. If one part of the body is in pain, the whole body feels it. He also warned against ignoring the problem or hoping it will go away on its own. Time will not heal this wound if the cause of the wound is still there, he said. He explained that unresolved conflicts tend to grow worse over time, and the anger of today can turn into bigger problems tomorrow if nothing is done. In his view, the choice is simple. Either the government continues on the current path and allows the tension to grow, or it takes bold action and opens the door for reconciliation. He said the second option is the only path that will bring real and lasting peace. To him, it is not about agreeing with everything Nnamdi Kanu has said or done, but about doing what is necessary for the greater good of the nation. He said that a wise leader sometimes has to make decisions that go beyond personal or political feelings, focusing instead on what will bring stability and unity. He ended his message with a strong reminder: if you want true peace in the southeast, then you must free the man who holds the key to the hearts of the people. You cannot silence the call for justice with force. You can only answer it with fairness. For Verydarkman, the message remains the same. Without justice, there can be no peace, and without peace, there can be no progress. The link between Kanu's freedom and stability in the southeast, he believes, is too strong to ignore any longer. Final and most passionate appeal, Verydarkman turned his attention to the issue of justice, fairness, and the unity of Nigeria. He began by reminding everyone that fundamental human rights are not privileges given to a select few, they are the birthright of every citizen. Whether someone is loved or disliked, whether their opinions are popular or unpopular, the law must protect them equally. He stressed that this principle applies to Nnamdi Kanu as much as it applies to any other Nigerian. Keeping Kanu in prolonged detention, without a clear and fair conclusion to his legal case, sends the wrong signal not just to the people of the southeast, but to the whole country. It tells them that justice can be delayed indefinitely, and that the government can choose whose rights to respect and whose to ignore. Verydarkman said this is a dangerous path for any nation. Once the people lose faith in the fairness of their government, it becomes harder to govern them peacefully. Distrust replaces cooperation, and suspicion replaces unity. He explained that the stability of any country rests on the trust between its leaders and its citizens, a trust that is built on fairness and respect for the rule of law. For him, the call to release Kanu is not about taking sides in political debates. It is about showing that Nigeria is still committed to justice. A country that claims to be democratic must prove it through its actions, not just through speeches. You cannot claim to respect human rights when you choose which citizens deserve them and which ones do not, he said. Verydarkman also challenged the government to think about the kind of image it wants to present to the world. He said that the international community is watching how Nigeria handles sensitive issues like this. By releasing Kanu, Nigeria would show that it values fairness over vengeance, and dialogue over force. This would not only improve the country's image but also encourage greater cooperation with other nations. He reminded President Tinubu that leadership is measured by the ability to make difficult decisions for the sake of the greater good. Sometimes, doing what is right is not the most popular choice politically, but it is the choice that history will remember with respect. He urged the president to think about how he wants to be remembered, as a leader who deepened divisions or one who built bridges. In his words, releasing Nnamdi Kanu is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It shows that you are confident enough in your leadership to choose peace over pride, unity over division, and justice over politics. Verydarkman also pointed out that keeping Kanu in detention has become a rallying point for anger in the southeast. The longer it continues, the harder it will be to repair the relationship between the government and the people. On the other hand, if Kanu is released, it will be seen as a gesture of goodwill, a signal that the government is willing to listen and willing to heal the wounds of the past. He argued that unity cannot be forced. True unity grows when people feel that they belong, when their voices are heard, and when their rights are respected. Without these things, unity is only an empty word. This is why he believes that the release of Kanu is not just a legal issue, it is a step towards genuine national unity. The activist also called on ordinary Nigerians to understand that peace in one part of the country benefits all. When there is peace in the southeast, the whole country enjoys the benefits. Trade flows more easily, families feel safer to travel, and businesses find it easier to grow. Insecurity anywhere is a problem everywhere, and unity anywhere strengthens unity everywhere. He explained that the choice facing the government is simple: continue down the path of mistrust and conflict, or take a bold step towards reconciliation. He warned that history has shown that ignoring deep divisions only allows them to grow. The cost of inaction, he said, will be much greater than the cost of taking the right step now. Verydarkman urged Nigerians to see beyond political and ethnic lines in this matter. He said it is not about being Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa. It is about being Nigerian and wanting a country where justice is not determined by tribe or politics. If injustice is allowed to happen to one person today, he said, it can happen to anyone tomorrow. To him, the lesson is clear: no nation can truly prosper while denying justice to any part of its population. Peace and progress depend on fairness, and fairness must be the foundation of every government action. He called on President Tinubu to write his name in history as a leader who understood this truth and acted on it. In closing, Verydarkman delivered a message that was both urgent and hopeful. He urged the president to seize this moment, not only to correct what he believes is an injustice but also to open a new chapter for the country. By releasing Nnamdi Kanu, the government would take a step towards ending the cycle of mistrust, creating room for dialogue, and proving that Nigeria's unity is built on fairness, not fear. His words were clear: peace will only come when we choose fairness over politics and unity over division. Mr. President, you have the power to choose. Choose peace. Choose justice. Choose unity. For Verydarkman, the release of Nnamdi Kanu is not the end of the conversation, but the beginning of a new path. A path where Nigerians can work together to solve problems without violence, where the rights of every citizen are protected, and where unity is built not on force but on trust.